Hey, hi guys, it's Mark from the RC 68 in France, and today finally I'm back on an English video high 6 shooter for some crazy stupid stuff I try here. You know I love that. You know, I'm a big fan from the Traxxas X-Max. For me it's the best off-road in that size we can have. We don't talk about the bad foam, the not so spicy servo and such typical Traxxas boring stuff, but in the end effect we have real fun with our X-Max. So I buy the XRT because I know that the driveline is okay, the plastics are okay, I'm pretty happy with the new tires. The compound from tires are real better than what we have on the X-Max from the how to say, the ability to not explode so fast. But we still have shitty foam in there, but this is not today's video. The problem is the XRT has the wide arms, which was a bad idea even on the X-Max, because to keep it cheap the shock is mounted at the same position at the stock arm, but the arm is longer. That means more force in the middle of the A-arms. That means more force on suspension. The X-Max can handle it because it has really big suspension travel. XRT is way more down on ground. The shocks are way shorter. We have here really 3-4 centimeters less shocks. And to provide the truck to laying down on the ground, they put way harder springs, and there is the problem. We have a hard springs, we have a big I'll show you, and we have a big leverage at the shock. Stock shock is mounted here, so any force on the tire is twice to 4 times bigger on a shock. And because it's a low lane truck like the low ZDB XL, you have exactly the same problem. Or you have a smooth suspension and the car is nice to drive off-road, but any jumps and any bump, he bumps out and hit the ground or loses rear traction. And any bump in the street, the ass comes up, you lose the control from the rear end. You can make it harder, so it's better on the way on heavy bumps or jumps, but you're still gonna have this issue with the rear end breaking out. Don't understand that at the low ZDB XL, because the low Z5 has not this issue. The suspension of the low Z5 is way better than this one from the DB XL, so don't understand why they do that. And we have here the same joke. Super suspension, bad suspension. So first try was to put an X-Max shock shaft in an XRT shock. Problem is clear that the nuts will destroy the rubber in the top here. So you can put a bump stop. This is something Lowe's I really like on the RTR. They always put some bump stops everywhere. They just forget that it's a rubber and that sometimes the rubber is so compressed that the top of the shock shaft still destroyed that one. Traxxas has not done this problem. They managed this. Many other brand has this issue, and many other brand has checked it out that this is a bad idea, that the shock shaft can hit the shock cap. So you can do that, so you have a little bit longer shock, but to put it in the proper position is still already a little bit compressed, so you do a lot of work for not many things, and especially you still have too short, too hard and non-progressive springs. That's the other thing I not understand by Traxxas. Traxxas does progressive spring at the 1/10 scales. So why did they not do that at the X-Max, or at least at the XRT? The better way to do that for Traxxas haven't been to do a new suspension arm for the XRT with the shock mounted near on the tires, and this is exactly what I have done here. This is not the proper way to do. This is just done with a little bit on conviction. I cut some part out, I drill out, I bore out, I dremelled out to was able to fit this together. This is bad. I surely gonna break an A-arm, lose a shock spring, something, but it's just for the purpose of the test. I wanna show the difference. I can show you already here on the table. It's easy. With the shock, the stock shock from the XRT, the ride height maximum is about here. When you drive, when you have the battery in, the body on the top, maybe you come down a little bit, centimeter, and that's all you have to not lose your back end in any out bump. That's bad, especially if you let fall the XRT stock from this position down, he bumps out, he hit the ground, the front also. When you lift the truck about 30-40 centimeter, let it down, boom, the chassis really comes hard on the ground. This is something you not have here. The stock X-Max, I was able to launch it about a meter from the ground until he bottoms out, because the longer shocks, he can dampen earlier the weight from the truck and make the truck lighter and lighter and lighter, slightly comes down until he's on the ground. Now that's what happened with this modification. No problem and no problem. Just lands smooth, and these are stock shocks. Stock oil, stock springs. If you put a little bit harder oil in there or a little bit harder springs from Traxxas, you will be able to make here a setup like a competition truck. It means you launch a truck on the ground, you just want, boom, is down. And here it is also. This is the high where the stock XRT bumps out. Look at this. No more out bump. And I also have more ground clearance. Really more ground clearance. This is not absolutely the best, because for sure at high speed turns the car gonna overroll faster. But I'm a monster truck driver, I don't care about LCG. I'm really okay with driving high TG cars. I love to drive monster trucks, I love to drive desert trucks, I love to drive crawler at high speed, and all those trucks are not made to turn fast. But once you have the habits to manage it, it's really fun. So we're gonna see what happened on the field. I'm gonna drive first cool, just to see how it feels, how is the suspension, how it turns, and then slightly we're gonna go a little bit harder. And I can tell you, I'm gonna break something. I'm gonna break an A-arm because I put some material up from the A-arms. I had to cut out here underneath from the A-arm. This is a stock shock position mount. I have to put some plastic out here. I have to put some plastic here in the upper part, so I can properly pull down the shock with this big angle here to get at maximum ride height. For sure, we're gonna continue to drive the 12 system 800 kV Max 5 HVG2 from Hobby Ring with the mod 1 gear inside. For the moment, I'm gonna put this out in a few weeks because I have bought the Newcastle 7020. For me, a better choice, a little bit lighter. I do not need so much power in this truck. I prefer to get this big power in the FG front cross here. No, not in my MCD. This one drives Airsnake 60S. 60 kilo 60S, 12 kilo 12S. So I'm excited to go run this truck, see what happens. For sure with this smooth suspension I'm gonna be way more happy. For sure also when I jump it's still gonna hit the ground because it's soft. I like soft suspension, I like heavy suspension travel. For sure to do this better, the best way, maybe it's not a way I like especially, would be to take some GPM suspension arm, the alloy arms, because they are fit differently, they're a little bit smaller in size, and so I will be more able maybe to lay this properly down. I'm really not a freak from alloy everywhere. I know many from you guys pulls 5 or 7 kilo of Vitavon stuff or GPM stuff in the truck. For me it's useless. It's okay on a nice truck, you will drive gently for just have a clean, really bling bling truck, but I prefer to go rough, and for go rough, plastic is also cheap to replace. If you put here all the Vitavon stuff in an X-Max, you get what in the end, a 20 kilogram heavy X-Max. You can even jump with because it breaks himself because its own weight. That's not what I like. So tell me, what have you find for solution? Have you used other springs from other brands? Have you take some other shocks from an Arma or whatever? Have you changed the oil, changed the... What have you done? Or are you happy with the stock suspension from the XRT? I am really not. The stock suspension is too down low on the ground, is too hard, and bumps out really too fast. Guys, stay tuned for the test run. The test run would be in French for sure, but you still get the image. So, or maybe I'm gonna take the time in the testing video to speak a little English in there and pull you in the title from the video, the time code, and tell you maybe it's in 3 language or something. I know I have to work on my multi-language video system, so you have a better translation, but it takes really much time. Remember, I pull out 3 to 4 videos a day, so it needs too much time, and I prefer to use my time to answer any comment. I answer any comment on my channel still now with 45,000 subscribers, because that is what I like. And the other thing I like is to drive. Then I like a little bit working on my bench, and the rest of my time is for family. And for sure the most of the time is to work, because no job, no money. Bye guys.